Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are leaving our friend the American badger for now and heading back to the surface to go to Yellowstone's more mountainous and deep forested regions to begin the spring foraging with the park's population of American black bears, otherwise known as Ursa americanus. Now, I know you're probably wondering, Yellowstone has grizzly bears too, right? Will we cover them? And I would like to assure you, we will cover grizzly bears, but instead of being in Yellowstone, I want to wait until we get to Alaska to make it part of our grand finale through our tour of North America. But before we begin, as always, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay tuned in for more special content, as well as updates for future places we'll explore. Check out my Facebook page so that if you want to do some conservation projects in your own backyard or keep up to date with special projects that are occurring all over the world. And finally, if you have a question about animals or if there's an animal you would like me to do in the future, please send me an email, which you will always find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, let's begin. So, as always, we start with the family and evolution. But by now, for those who have been with me the longest, you will know that we have already covered the giant panda and recently the polar bear. But if we need a little crash course or a refresher on their evolution, that's okay, we'll do that anyway. So roughly around 50 million to 38 million, 55 million to 38 million years ago, ancient bear ancestors looked a lot like a mix between a bear and a dog, but eventually the more modern day bear that we see today wouldn't appear until 5 million years ago in Eurasia, and from there they would spread all over the globe, evolving their own species as well as their own bloodlines. Today, we recognize only 8 species of bear, which includes our animal today, the American black bear, India's sloth bear, the famous giant panda, brown bears, Asian black bears, sun bear, the spectacled bear of South America, and finally, the largest species of bear, the polar bear. Now, in terms of black bears, believe it or not, they are thought to have originated from Asiatic sun bears that would eventually evolve both the Asian black bear as well as our American black bear. Now, today in North America actually recognizes 16 different species or subspecies of black bears because of where they occupy and the different kinds of habitat they rule, as well as where they can be found all across North America. Because from the southeastern swamplands to the Rocky Plateau, to the Rocky Mountains, all over the country, you can find black bears. So instead of focusing on all these specific species, we're just going to focus on them as a whole to avoid confusion. Now we'll continue with their habitat and lifestyle. Now, for a bear, home isn't in a cottage in the woods. No, that's just the fairy tales. Instead, if you're wanting to go look for black bears, you're not really going to have too much luck, as they would prefer to stick with the deep forested areas or places where it's really inaccessible for humanity. Because for them, since these are really shy creatures, they want to find places where they can easily hide. Now, you may have heard about how some city animals like foxes or hawks or even possums, even raccoons might occupy the city, and that's fine. But a bear, you would never find that in the city. It's just not possible, because for them, like I've just said, they want to be able to hide or disappear quickly. But now, here in Yellowstone National Park, the park actually holds around 500 to 600 black bears altogether. And they occupy many different spots, like the Tower area, the Blacktail Plateau, and even the famous Mammoth Hot Springs. So wherever you might be able to find them, there's a good chance. Now, like all bear species, American black bears live a completely solitary lifestyle, that is until it's time to breed. From June to July, as well as sometimes into August, depending on where you are in the northern part of North America. So you have the northern hemisphere of North America and then the southern part. Northern, it can go into August. Males that weigh around 200 to 600 pounds will seek out females that are either 150 or 400 pounds and breed with them. But just like our friend the American badger that we just covered last 2 weeks, Females will actually also go through a process called delay implantation, meaning they can they can actually halt their embryo's development until at least maybe like the late winter. So by around February, she will give birth to anywhere from 1 to 6 cubs, but usually it's 2 to 3. So generally, that's what you would see with a mama bear. So when they are first born, they're completely blind and weigh less than a pound. After 40 days have passed, they begin to open their eyes for the first time, and soon enough they'll join with their mother. Soon they will venture out of the den with their mother to explore the world around them, but they won't reach maturity until they're at least 3 years old, where they get all the basic training they need to be a bear. How to fight off enemies, how to establish territories and keep them safe from other bears, and more importantly, looking for food. So far in Safari Mac, we have covered the vegan giant panda, as well as the meat crazy or meat lover polar bear. Now, black bears, as we know, are opportunists as well as generalists, meaning they'll eat anything that they can find. So basically, this makes them omnivorous. But instead of just focusing on what they eat, instead I wanted to take this today to show you how they eat throughout the year in accordance to the seasons. So we're going to actually, in a way, pretend that we're bears for a little bit, okay? So for starters, springtime. It's a perfect time to feed on some nice dandelions or other flowers, grass, and if they're able to find any deer calves or moose calves, any baby animals, they will take the opportunity to stock up on some protein. So it's like a nice, easy transition back into getting some food into your system. By the summertime, they're eating more berries and other different kinds of fruits or whatever they can find. So like I said, they'll eat carrion, they'll eat what they can find. But now wait a minute. Come the fall, all of a sudden you're on a binge. You're just eating like crazy. Why is that? For the bears, they're trying to get themselves as fat and as possible, because when it comes time to hibernate, there's no food. So hibernation is when these are true hibernators. That's when they go into a state of where they're just kind of like in suspended animation. After eating all that food during both the summer and the fall, just stocking up and getting yourself fatter and fatter, you're not eating anything. You're not even drinking anything. So they're living off of everything that they managed to accumulate. And if they don't accumulate enough food, they will not survive. Sadly, they will not survive the winter. And there are a number of bears that usually don't make it to their next spring. So this is where they really have to remember and rely on their environment around them. Yet today, it seems that American black bears are not really hibernating as much. And there's another problem. Maybe the winters that we've seen are getting a little warmer, but that's not great for certain plants, like certain berry bushes, because they need like extreme cold, just like peaches or other kinds of fruit that we love to eat, rely on real cold snaps to make that kind of spark to get them to produce in the following spring and summer. So do certain foods. And when that doesn't happen, the food that they rely on might not even come into bloom. And then they're having an even difficult time to finding enough to get through the winter. Finally, we're going to end with today's Part 1 episode with their influence in Native American cultures. Bears, in general, have been seen as a symbol of hard work. They've also been seen as symbols of medicine. And finally, they're even seen as a symbol of strength and love. Many Native American cultures all around have viewed bears as important for their livelihoods. In fact, they even believe the old bear necklace claw, while they only would hunt the bears just all for what they need, for food as well as their fur, not just for one thing only. Carrying certain bits of the bear seemed to give them a kind of strength of courage, for they may have attacked with the fierce strength of the bear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today, except now I want to give an announcement. Last week, you all voted to do one more animal, and so I would like to present you with 2 animals that I would like you to vote on after this episode. Would you like to do the American white pelican, or would you like to do the trumpeter swan? You have until next Friday to place your votes. And so, until next week, this is Safari Mac. I'll see you all out there.